We knew all the reports, this is going to be one of the largest floods in history, and what have we got time to do? Have we got time to sandbag, or do we try and lift equipment up so it doesn't get flooded? Do we get out and try and help farmers sandbag? There was a lot of questions and an anxious few days for the guys in Forbes, particularly waiting, and then it was just letting the flood come through.
Fighting the enemy below. A wall of water that is unrelenting. They call this...
And so the floodwaters went down, but really hot, and you just have everything starts to go mouldy. Just as it looked like we're going to be able to get in there and start cleaning, the next flood came through, which was even higher. It went over 1 metre, and everything, and it took quite some time to dissipate. So the entire building, all your kitchens, all your toilets, everything up to over 1 metre is completely ruined. The buildings go warm, and it's dirty, disgusting flood water and all sorts of growth on things. So even things that the team of volunteers had raced down and lifted equipment high, hoping that they'd be able to save it, and in the end it was all had to be thrown out. So I think when you experience any natural disaster, but particularly in this situation, it was on the back. For rural Australia, we had drought, straight into COVID, straight into these significant flood events. And so you've got multiple traumas that are built up into people's worlds and into communities. The processing of that trauma lasts a lot longer than the media coverage, than the spotlight. And so we've got people in communities in a whole host of areas that are still struggling. And to back that up with raising interest rates, raising costs of living, when you've got additional costs of being out of home, or for us as a church, not being in our normal facility, you're trying to raise funds for a building project now, while people, we've got some farmers that their own properties and their harvests were damaged and destroyed. And so working through all of that, trying to help people re-engage with the vision of the local church, while really at this time, the church is engaged in helping people work through their trauma, find a sense of community and love, and know that there's an eternal purpose to life that helps maybe put some of this in perspective without throwing cliches at it, but genuinely walking beside people for the long term. The quick response of ACS really exceeded our expectation. ACS were really quick to organise a professional team to come in and clean, remove all the rubbish and all the damaged goods that had mould and so on. They were all taken care of. Gyprock as far up as water damage taken out, all those sort of things, kitchens, toilets removed, so that our local team didn't have to get in there and do any of that, which for them, many of them had homes or businesses that were affected, and they could spend time concentrating on those things and not feeling guilty that they weren't volunteering and helping out at the church. I feel that through the entire process, ACS have been really clear and upfront. We've known where we stand. We know what's going to happen at the next stage, what the stages are. And just that in itself, because a big part of my job is to turn around and communicate to the local pastors and the local church community. And so being able to go to them with clarity and say, this will be the next step, and then it is the next step, with all the other stresses going on, that's incredibly helpful for the community. I can certainly say from our point of view that we'd be happy to recommend ACS, especially in our setting, being a church, their understanding of our specific needs. Running a church is not like running any other organisation. There are specific challenges and also specific strengths that we have as a church community, and ACS understand them implicitly. It's part of who they are, so that's incredibly helpful through the process. We can get on with being Generocity Church in the community, loving God and connecting people to Jesus. That's been the biggest plus to come out of a really difficult season.